Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Wednesday. And you are tuned in to Culture Talk, provided to you by the Heat Seekers. How is everybody? First of all, everybody's good. I hope you tune in and join us today because Culture Talk is going to be live and we're talking about something for the culture. And our wonderful guest today is Ms. Karla Davis Luster. How are you?
I am well, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I am so excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You are one of the most sought after authors right now. Yes, you're writing about great things and information that we all need to know about. So I figured, hey, let's have you up here and talk about it. I'm excited. Your book is entitled
The
The Woman
woman tells.
The Woman Tells. Yeah,
The
I wanted
woman
to let you
tells.
tell it. So yes, your book is entitled The Woman Tells, and is it a romance novel? Is it a guide to romance, or what is it like?
It's all of that. It's a romance novel. It's a guide and some pointers or some suggestions on some things that you can do to help with your relationship. And it is not one-sided. The title is The Woman Tells. However, it's very balanced. So it's for the woman and the man. I will say that.
Now that's interesting. Now I'm interested to hear your perspective on something for the woman and the man, because most of the time when women write books, it's mostly their perspective, which is very understandable. So
Mhm.
you have a unique gift to kind of make it balanced. I see.
Yes. I will tell you, I guess the inside information about that is that growing up, I grew up around five male cousins. So
Mm.
I've gotten their side of the story as well as I do have a couple of sisters. And I've been told that I lean more towards the male side,
Oh wow.
so
Okay.
however, this book is balanced. I try to be fair and equal to everyone. Everyone tells their side of the story in this book, in this novel.
Interesting. So tell me this before we get into the book. I just want to know some things like around the circumference of your aspirations for even doing it. What what made you want to write this book?
Interesting. Well, I got to tell you, it wasn't some like fantasy growing up that I wanted to be an author or anything like this. What happened is, while in corporate, I'm no longer there. I'm an entrepreneur, but being in corporate, I was given the opportunity to work on a project for a department that was newly developing, and they didn't have any. They were starting from ground zero. It was actually for Burger King Corporation in Miami. I was sought after and hired, and then I went to this department, and they gave me the project to create a operations training manual for all of the employees that were coming in. So with that, I worked with a lot of different people, to pull together information. I worked with publishers, I worked with editors. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of like this. So one day when I get some time, I said to myself, and I put it on my bucket list, that I was going to either write my autobiography or I was going to write about a subject that I know that everybody could relate to and, like give an opinion and be like, yeah, yeah, or no, no, but, cause a little controversy. But I chose the relationship route because of, just, I think that that's something that everybody can relate to.
Right. Relationship. Everybody needs relationships, and I noticed. I mean, all kinds of relationships, and
Yes.
I'm noticing that the way the world is now, things are kind of changing and pulling us away from relations. We
Hmm.
have apps for everything. We have computers that keep us, from interacting with each other the way we normally would. So I think that has a lot to do with the I guess the deterioration of good relationships,
Hmm.
or good
Hmm.
relations, how you should say it. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm eager to hear your perspectives on things. I noticed when I was reading, I saw that you had some specific elements that you feel work for relationships.
Hmm.
I'm interested to hear that. I didn't want to delve too much into it because I wanted natural reactions from what you say. So, but I got a roundabout feel of everything. So I think people getting on. So I think let's jump right into it and let's talk
Okay.
about this book, and let's understand what the woman is actually telling.
What she's actually telling. Okay, so that is the title.
Mhm.
However, I'll just give you a real quick brief overview about what the book is, not to give too much away. I will tell you that there is a download on my website, www.thewomantells.com, and there is a sneak peek movie clip, 30 seconds, that's out there that really just gives it away what the book is probably going to be mostly about. However, the book is a romance novel. It has some intimacy in there, and it's about a couple that struggle and have their issues. Who can't identify with that when you talk about that? However, the way that they handle things, they choose to bring other people into the relationship or choose to get their happiness from somewhere else. They're
Mhm.
cheating on each other. So you
Basically.
have a mistress, and then you have a paramour, which is a French term for a male mistress. And each one of these characters actually tell their side of the story. And I will say this: the male mistress, the paramour, and the mistress, they actually tell their side and give you a different perspective and give you just the background on them, on how they actually chose to be the way they are and what occurred in their life to make them
Mm.
to bring them to this point in their life. So I think that we normally, when you think about mistress, paramour, they doing this, oh my God, you want to stone them at the stake. However, when you hear the background on it, I think that you're gonna we don't really like condone what they're doing, and some people might, but you will understand the place that they're in their lives, because I didn't want to leave anyone out. So each character tells their side of the story.
Right.
So
That's interesting. Each character tells. I already felt like I was watching a movie because no, because what it sounds like to me is like you're like, okay, this person is responsible for this particular part of the relationship, and this person is responsible for this part of the relationship, and they come to, and that other person, if it's three or four, whatever you
and
want
the
to
other
say,
one,
right, the other one. And what they do is they all do their part to make the overall relationship work. Am I in the right ballpark?
you are definitely sitting in the second row.
Now that sounds like some polynumerous mess. So
Uh-huh.
so let's talk about that. Like, do you think it requires uh every aspect of what's needed from a relationship from two people, more than two people, or whatever it requires?
Two people can have a relationship. I think where we mess up is that we don't communicate what and I talk about these, your love languages. I'll be talking about that a little bit tonight. Your love language, what are they? And society has their list of things, um they list out what they think it is. But I think each individual, not everything is going to work for everybody. So I think you need to figure out what works for you. You need to love yourself first, and you need to figure out what it is that you require in order for you to be happy in a relationship. So with that being said, I think that in this book, I make sure that everybody has an accountability. When a relationship go wrong or when a relationship is great, everybody is adding to, contributing to the outcome of that. And that's what
Mm,
I try to do. I don't want to be one-sided, like male bashing, oh, he did this, and woe is her, she's the victim or the villain. But women have their stuff too, and I say that. We can be just as wonderful or amazing, vice versa, or just as ratchet as we think that guys can. How people talk about it. So there is no one person at fault. Everybody comes to the table with responsibility and accountability in this book. Now, how they choose to handle things, it's up to the individual. But I wrote it to be spicy, and and I tried to write it with everyday stuff that actually happens. So I think you'll like it. It's a fun read, and the intimate scenes I think are off the chain. I
see,
tried to pull from some Zane stuff.
see, but don't even try though, because we gotta actually. Thank you. You see, you got people commenting already.
Mhm.
Thank you. That's true. But what we gotta do is we gotta really delve into a couple of those scenarios. You know, just so we can, excite the people, let them know that this is what they need to get. This is a good read. So I don't know exactly how many categories you have, but I know one of them. Well, let's talk about it. What do you think out of what you've written, what do you think stands out as far as what people need to know about the relationships? What are one of the things that mostly, stands out?
Is that it's I what I say, and I say this like in real life to my friends when we're talking. It's like whatever you did to get that person, male or female, you need to remember that That's the way they saw you. If when you, Kevin, like I don't know if you're married or whatever else, I haven't asked.
Not yet.
You're Just say you had a relationship, and when you guys started off, the female that you got was, she's like, I mean, she's all put together, hair put together, she's, knocking it down. And I say this a little bit in the book: Harvey Leger dress, red bottoms, you coming over, she cooking a 7-course meal, and you're doing this, and this is just, she's just really wooing you. And then after you guys get together, her whole demeanor and everything that she does for you changes. She's like, you better grab some McDonald's, hair all up in, rollers or whatever else, and get it, as an African American female, of course, we have different type of hair. So we have to go like different routes in order to make sure that it's maintained. And when we do go out, so I get all of that. But my point is that don't forget the thing that attracted you initially. Don't totally get away from that. Now if you guys talk and it's not something that he or she liked or whatever else, and you're communicating then, and you decide that that doesn't work for you, this works for me, that's good. But the mere thing that I say is that don't start off doing one thing, and your mate liked it and loved it, and then you just, once you get them, you just really don't even care what they think about the things that you did to get them. So, and here's my saying: I said, treat your mate like a plant. You got to water it, and different plants require different amounts of water. Some require a numerous amount of water, and some,
Mhm.
I say, the cactus, you can water it every 2 weeks or whatever. But whatever the plant is, you need to figure out what that watering type is, and make sure that you're meeting that requirement, because at some point that plant needs to be watered. And if you don't water it, it's gonna die, like your relationship.
And again, the title of the book is for everyone to ask. Someone just asked me to pin it. Actually, the title of the book is "The Woman Tells," and I can ask my producer, can he pin that for me? Because people are asking about that. It's amazing. You're getting all these people asking about this book. So I agree with you. I agree with you on that point. I also feel like it's a responsibility to both parties, because everybody put their best foot forward in the beginning anyway, because you want to attract. Even animals are made to attract the mate. And I'm sure they don't
Absolutely.
do that all the time. So don't we also have to take into consideration and be accountable for, I mean, sometimes you just want to be regular. Can you still, you know, do you always have to do things to attract every time just to keep somebody? Because sometimes you may not feel like cooking dinner, or you may not feel like getting dressed up. So how do you operate in that sense?
Um, I totally agree with you. I mean, nothing is like, just like constant, constant, constant. But I'm just saying, when you just totally let it go, and just, we've gone for, well, how many couples have you heard? And it like, it just worries me. I was in a couples group, and you would hear, and some of them are coming, and they're like putting all their stuff out on the table. I'm like, wow, they said that, but they haven't slept together or had an intimate encounter for 6, 7, 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
How do you be with someone or love someone, and unless there's some kind of physical defect, whatever, and you're working through it, then I get that part too, if something, but you're not feeling each other, you're not, and I know that this is one of society's love languages, is like physical touch. It's like, how do you go 6 and 7 and 8 months and not touch the person that you love? Me
Mm-hmm.
personally, it's or maybe you're not. So that, me, I would question whether or not you're still in love with them or whatever else. But not everything is in moderation. There are times that you're going to kick back, put your sweats on, me, like watch a sports, game or something, basketball with you, because I love you. It may not be my thing, but sometimes you got to give and take or whatever, and do things that your mate like. It may not be your total thing. And then hopefully vice versa. He may, you might like to skate, and he may not like to skate, but just going to support, I wouldn't say put on the skates and get out there and break your leg and them, but just going. However,
Right.
everything is in moderation. So I don't want to say every day, all day, but don't forget what you did.
Right. Don't forget what you did. Do you also think I always say women have this mechanism of manipulation. They always blame that on Eve. But but it seems like women naturally have some type of chemical in them or whatever, and it helps creates manipulation. And in every movie we see it, every cartoon, the woman is always like, taunting and not taunting, but just trying to do something to get the man's attention. So do you
Hmm.
think in regular um regular interaction, do you think women know that and their game is to manipulate?
That depends. It depends
Mhm.
on the woman. Women, I tend to say that we know what we be doing. We know,
Mhm.
we have that woman intuition,
Mhm.
and we just have those hunches. And I think the intuition is, you know, um, some of ours can be like off kilter or whatever. I do speak about women's intuition in the book as well. That we can either use it in our favor or it can work against us. But there are some women, I will say, that can be very manipulative, as well as some use, what they have in a good sense, because it's not a bad thing to, try to get someone that you like and have been attracted to. I don't think that that's a bad thing. It's the way that you go about it.
Mhm.
So, and if it's in a manipulative, deceitful type of way, then that is bad. But if it's in a way that, oh, I like this guy, and you're trying to find out what he likes and stuff like that, and you're willing to change, and that's within you, you want to do it. Hey, go for it.
And I don't think anything is bad if the intent is good. Like I don't even
The
think
intent.
manipulation is necessarily bad if it's all for good. Like because sometimes people want to be, manipulated. I don't mean it like that. I mean people want to be like, sold to. I guess. That doesn't sound right either. Okay,
Cater
so
to, cater, cater. There's nothing
let's
wrong
do
with
that.
catering to someone. I think
Let's
that's a
let's
good thing when you
yeah,
cater to
let's
your spouse.
yeah. I think I was talking about more of a profession, but I mean that's a part too. Like some people have, there's some truth in all of this when it comes to relationships. It just depends on what type of relationship you're talking about. Let me ask
Absolutely.
you this, and I don't know if this gets into you personally or not. It doesn't matter. You wrote the book, so I'm sure it came from somewhere. But
It came from somewhere.
but how do you relate some of your experiences to the book?
I would say that I could possibly relate over the course of my life.
Mm.
Not telling my age or whatever, which I don't really care. But I'm sure at some point, a lot of the stuff in the book that I have experienced at some point, have I experienced it now with this mate, or was it a boyfriend or whatever else? I won't go into, where that is. However, just, and even like speaking to friends and they're telling me about their relationships and different, because I did do interviews, I did like talk to a lot of couples, to gather information. So I would say a lot of it, I mean, the entire book obviously came from me. As far as my life, there are some things in there, but probably I'm the lesser, because I took just a collaboration of different relationships and different experiences and tried to make it a novel about relationship that everybody could see themselves in there. So
Mhm.
not totally me, I'm in there, but and I am the writer. So, and then there are some embellishments, definitely, on some of the scenes. And I would say the scene that's kind of embellished a little bit would be when the mistress tells her side of the story. There's a piece, and I'll just give this little piece where she had an issue. She's a mistress and she's married, and I'm giving away too much, but I will say this. And she has a scenario where her husband has been doing some stuff. So you gotta,
We got to get
it's,
this book. It sounds like
it
a
is
Wendy.
really, a little bit of that is embellished, just a little, because I will tell you that is an actual situation that happened, embellished a little bit.
But I think all things exist anyway.
Hmm.
So whatever we
Yeah,
think, I think it already has happened or is happening or will happen. So I
absolutely.
mean, there's no scenario that's like just unheard of. It may be unheard of to you, but it's not
Hmm.
unheard of to somebody. So I mean, I get it. You could have told me it was 25 people in a relationship. I'd be like, "Woo, that's a whole lot." I mean, at least they wouldn't get bored. but but I mean, it's just
I
crazy.
do
So
mention Superfly in the book, the Superfly. You saw
oh,
Superfly, right? He
the
had
real
the two women or whatever, and they all like a one big happy family. I
yeah.
do mention it.
But that's funny. Only we as Americans look at that as strangely. I think because in other countries, some of that is what they do. That's their way of life.
Hmm.
Right? I just don't.
Absolutely.
I just don't understand how are they cultured to understand? Okay, you a wife, and then there's another wife and another wife, and they cool with it. But we
Hmm.
over here is not cool with that. So it's like it has a lot to do with the environment that you're brought up in.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
and the culture, because it's accepted in those countries that, the I guess the king or whatever, he has an harem, or he's allowed to have more than one wife. He chooses the wife, and then I don't know if you ever did you watch the movie Big Love? That's
I did.
here. It was
Yeah,
Big Love was here. I think it was somewhere shot out in Utah or somewhere, where's they're like this community where the men have three, four, five, six wives, and when he gets ready to choose another wife, I guess the other wives have input on whether or not they like the new wife coming in. So, and that was a real series, and then that was here. So it makes you wonder. Okay, I think it is here. I'm not sure.
so
And
that's I think it is too, and I think that's what makes me feel like, is anything really wrong? And when does it tap into the moral compass? Like I don't. Everybody's morality beliefs are different,
mhm.
So to me, I look at everything and be like, okay, well that's them. So I think even in this situation, like with your book, we just have to take whatever relates to us and utilize the tool that you're helping with for if it
I
relates
agree.
to. So your book is about basically everything, and if it relates to you, is that it? I'm trying.
Yeah, if it relates to you, hey, if you can't relate, okay, it's a good read. Get some wine, enjoy, and keep it moving. And I
Right.
got to say that everything, as far as relationships and stuff, it's what you are willing to tolerate. It's your morale. It's your, it's what you are okay with. It's wrong when I think it's wrong when it's deceitful and you're unaware. I always, and I've had conversations with friends, and they're like, well, um, he didn't tell me this, and you've had people tell you that someone they were dating someone and they found out they were married later and they never told them and stuff like that. I said, here's to that. There is a moral compass that we follow. We are, if those of you who are religious and you follow, the Bible or whatever else, you should have this, you should do this. But I always say, if there's something outside, relationships or whatever else, let me know. Tell me up front, be very honest and direct with me on what the situation is, whether it's a relationship or something else, buying a pair of shoes, and let me decide whether or not that's something that I want to agree with or go along with. Give me the opportunity. Don't take the opportunity away from me to say yay or nay, and just have me like out here on a whim, you know, and unaware, and I'm thinking I'm doing one thing and I'm doing another. You may find that I may not, I may go along with that, but I've given the
Right.
opportunity and I know. And then there is not this all sneaking around and lying and all that kind of stuff. Just tell me straight up,
Woo.
and we can go from there. But at the event that I find out that, you've just taken away my ability to say yes or no, so that's the way I look at that.
You just hit a nerve. But of course, I can't talk to you about it because whoever will swear that it's about them, so I can't even talk about that subject. But but I know exactly what you're saying. It's like people don't give each other the opportunity to accept. And I,
Hmm.
and I think that's a big part of the issue. But a lot of that is because we don't fully accept ourselves. When you fully accept yourself, you don't have a problem giving that to someone else for them to accept or not. But we have to
Exactly.
really learn to accept ourselves. And you apparently accept yourself because you're talking about it. So
That's I go back to that communication. I go back to knowing yourself and loving yourself first, and learning what you like. You got to learn yourself first before you can, put all these expectations and requirements on somebody else. Because how are you gonna tell somebody, whether you like it or don't like it, and you don't know what you like yourself. So you need to figure yourself out, do some self reflection first, and then you can like be able to communicate, your do's, your don'ts, your deal breakers with your partner.
so how many relationship scenarios do you go through in this book?
There are one, two, three, about five, four or five.
And are they all like traditional relationships, or is this to help? Who where are we targeting? Well, you laughing.
You have the traditional,
I'm just
married
asking what
couple.
they, I'm
You have
asking
the
what
traditional married couple. You
right,
have the
right, right.
traditional married couple. Then you have the husband with his mistress, and you have the wife with her mistress. Then you have
Oh,
the mistress with her husband, and
oh
then
my
you
Oh my God. Can we make a movie out of this?
I thought you would never ask.
That's where
So
we were
the
going.
movie clip is on my website. It's like
Okay.
30 seconds, and oh God, it is hilarious. And I invite everyone tonight. I am going to be streaming live for the release, and the
Mhm.
movie clip will be played tonight. And I tell you, they go in. It's 30 seconds, but when they end it in that 30 seconds, you're gonna be like laughing or wow, did she say that to him? It's pretty cool.
So literally, so you basically have a sort of a sizzle reel of everything. So is this really seriously gonna? Do you have plans for making this a film?
I I have big, huge operations. I would aspirations. I would love to make it a film. So right now it's anyone that want to pick it up and help me. So financially support it. It would be great. But
That
I
would be-
would love to make it a film.
So how did you go about getting the 30-second clip? Like, and what made you think of that even?
I wanted to do something out of the box. I'm always trying to think outside of, okay, that's been done, that's been done. Well, what's new? People want to see something new. And I said, I don't think I've ever seen an author do a movie clip as advertisement. It could be out there, never say never, but
Great.
I've never seen it. So I got it was I worked in conjunction with a student that he's like finishing up. He's just started his company. He got out of school. He just started his company, and he actually did a very nice job. And he wanted just the exposure. In exchange, I got the marketing piece, so it worked. And he actually will introduce himself in a video tonight on the release, and that's how I got to do it. Yeah, and I got two friends that act to like play the wife and the husband.
Well, oh wow. So tell us tell us right now though, where is that going to be tonight? So that we and what time?
Okay. Tonight is going to be at 7 p.m.
Mhm.
on who was I going to say, on Zoom. It's going to be on Zoom. I have all of the codes and everything. I would have to figure out how to get it to you, and you could like put it on your social media, and I invite everyone to come. It's only going to be 30 minutes because we didn't want to bore the hell out of everybody.
Right,
So
right.
it starts at 7, and we will be off Zoom at 7:30. But I could give you the information, and you could give it to everyone. We can
Okay,
figure
you
that
can
out.
definitely you can probably type it in Facebook, right? Are you on live or whatever? Or it
uh,
don't matter.
I'm not
No,
online.
just send it to me and then I can do that. I can put it up for everyone. But yeah,
Okay.
I mean, interesting. I'm glad to know there was one thing I saw in reading I guess the orientation of the book or whatever. I saw race. You were talking about the differences in black relationships as opposed to other races. Now, what can we go into that? Like, what have you found out? What have you figured out? What have you thought about?
Well, I just think about it. As far as, I mean, and I do put this disclaimer out there that I don't take away from any other race. I can only speak for who I am and what I am, and the most relationships that I've been around. However, I talk about Black love, and I say that that is some of the most strongest love that you can have. And I guess I would say if it was two Caucasian people, they would have a strong bond. To Dominican Republic, just when you're of the same culture, I guess basically, and I just use Black love, is that you share a lot of background and history, and you can relate to normally the upbringing. You can relate to just the various things that you have shared, like us, as Black people, our ancestral lineage, of what has happened and what has transpired, how our households are basically conducted. When I talk to people, I can come together with people that I don't know of the same culture, and you can start naming off and talking about stuff, bring up a song or whatever else, and you can relate. My grandmother did this. Oh, so did mine. My grandmother baked this. Yeah, so did, and I just think that when you have more things that you have in common, and the more things that you have experienced the same, you can identify and you understand. I do have a family. I guess I would say that they're made up of United Nations with cousins and everybody, because I have a lot of interracial marriages in my family, and the people are amazing. But you do, if you sit back and you watch, sometimes you kind of see, it's not, sometimes it's a little awkward because it's you can see like somewhat of a disconnect. And my prime point is that look, do you watch The Bachelor?
I have, yes.
You have. Did you see this last guy,
No,
Matthew or whatever, and what he's going through with the young lady,
no.
what happened? Well, I won't go into that whole scenario, but people that watch The Bachelor can kind of see it. To me, that just kind of like drives my point home. The variance in culture sometimes can have may have a bearing on the relationship, and I just feel that
Mm,
you have two people of the same makeup or whatever. It's I think it has a larger percentage of being, you know, a good thing.
mm, mm. So with this book, would you be considering yourself to being like a relationship guru, or are you a therapist by any chance, or because people are gonna start putting you in. Oh, so you just said, okay, this is my perspective. I'm gonna tell y'all what I think.
I'm a
But
realist.
you're real. Okay.
I'm a realist.
So, but it's going to put you in a position where people start, they're going to be asking you questions about relationships and what do you think about this and that. Are you open to that?
I'm definitely open to that. And yeah, I've always been, I'm very open. If you ask me something, I'm going to give you my opinion. You know, right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm going to, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you. And I'm not one to just make up stuff just to appease people. I would say,
Mhm.
well, you did ask me, and I want to put the disclaimer up there. You know, I don't really necessarily agree with what you're doing, and here's why. And I will tell you the why. And I will tell you, I will try to use facts, because just making up something and you really don't know anything about the subject, then that's not good as well. But
Mhm.
or if it's something I don't know, I'm gonna tell them I really don't know. You kind of got to make your mind up on that yourself. But here's where I am, and here's what I've seen. So when I say I'm a realist, I was joking, but I am not joking. I will give you my real opinion on it. Is it law? No, I'm not God or anything else like that, but I will be very honest with you and very direct.
Mhm. Are you married, single?
I'm married for now
Wow.
until he reads the book. No, I'm just
I mean, the book. That's what I was gonna say. Like, okay, how are you married? And you wrote the book, and does he know about the book? Like, how is this working for your relationship?
he
I
knows
saw the
about the
movie.
book.
You know,
He knows about the book. I'm like, it's a fiction book. I was, at the end of the day, there has been, I think people are scared to ask me that question. So, I want to
exactly.
say right now, I
That's what
appreciate you, and I really respect the
I
fact that you asked me because I
think.
will answer you. Um, he's like, he read, skipped around in some chapters and stuff like that. He was like, wow, I think he's indifferent, and he knows that I'm an entrepreneur, and I just, I do me, and he has to understand that. But however he's feeling, he'll get over it or
Where he
not.
at? Where he at? I wish he was there. Because we'll do the
Huh?
interview with him too, and I'll be like, "So, what you think about the book?" And we can really figure it out. We'll get a great man and woman perspective and relationship. It'll all come together. No, I'm
He
just joking.
probably, he may say, I don't read stuff like this or whatever else. I'm like, okay, well, that's not your thing. This is mine. So, hey,
But
what do we
but
do?
do with some of the things, because you talk about some of the things in the book that helps relationships. So I'm
Mhm.
assuming that you actually do those things that you talk about.
The things that help, yes. Do we fall off kilter? Yes, we do. Everybody does. Do I have bad days? Yes, I do. So I'm not on every day. People be like, you just have some people that are just on. I'm not on every day. I go
Right.
through, the same things. I've been through relationships that have had their trials, tribulations, and did I make the right decisions? And 100% of the cases, I probably did not. But I
Mhm.
will say that, yeah, I go through some of those things that have happened in the book.
But that's good, because I think that says a lot, and it
Hmm.
makes people realize that your book is serious. Because if you actually deal with it and you do it, then they'll have a reason to think, that, okay, well, it's like
I
this.
didn't
When
say
you
what though. I didn't say which part.
know, I'm just talking about any of the things, because it's like if
I
you a
know,
chef, and I'll be like, if you ain't gonna eat it, I ain't eating it. So I'm like, okay.
absolutely. But
So
you
I
want me to taste this, but you don't want it. No.
right. So that's why I wanted to know if you authentically utilize some of the tools that you provided in the book, and
I
does it
do.
work? Yeah.
I do. And I will say, the stuff that I tell the woman, I'm giving away. You guys got a better book. But anyways, one of the things that one of the chapters I talk about, do something out of the box for, and I can only speak as a woman, for your man. If you've never taken a shower with him, hey, get in the shower with him, and do something, that is unexpected, something sexy, something, just, sultry, whatever. Don't just
Right.
like be like the same thing, a robot, whatever else, think of something. And if your relationship is in trouble, you need to be trying to do stuff to rekindle it, do something,
Right.
change the scenery.
I was, I was trying to keep it clean, but you're talking about showers and stuff. So let's get into all that. No, I'm just,
I'm sorry.
I was like, okay.
I didn't say what happened in the shower, so
No,
I
that's not
kept
what
it
we're talking
clean.
about. We on daytime, but it's but I'm just saying. At least you mentioned it. It's okay. It's the
People take showers in the daytime.
well, I hope so. But we can
I'm
do
being
that.
funny. I'm being
But
funny. I'm sorry.
we supposed to do this because we want
Mhm.
people to realize they're real. They're real. The book is real. So you said it
It
was
is.
fiction. But those are real scenarios. It can happen. You
Mhm.
laughing. Oh, I got to get this book because I got to see what's in this book that you laughing about. Because you're like,
It is a fiction book, but the things that happen inside of the book are real life scenario things that happen.
so
Okay.
it's fiction because you made up the people, but the scenarios are real, right? But you made up the scenarios too. No, I'm just playing with you.
Come on now. And when you read the book, even just say for instance, I did make them up, which I did not. The scenarios are coming from some people that I interviewed and different things and pulled from some information. However, it is a fiction book because I'm not just talking about one person. And the other thing that when you're reading, you will not notice that I don't name anybody. Nobody has a name in the
Mm,
book. It's
okay.
interesting. So, except for I'm making fun of, I shouldn't say making fun. I'm describing something, and I give two ladies in the book nicknames. Other than
Hmm.
that, there are no names in the book.
Well, I noticed. Is that the cover behind you? The cover of the
Yes,
book.
yes. The
Yes.
woman tells with the
So
face. Yes,
the face is that a tear?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So that gives me
I'm
the
gonna keep moving in
impression.
a way.
I know, right? You got to be opposite. So, but that gives me the impression the woman tells is like, is there something that hurts her, or that she's going through that's just horrible? Like, what is the thing behind that cover?
I wanted it to look mysterious, eye catching, because I get a lot of people saying, "What's with the cover?" And but I made you look at the cover, and
Of
then
course.
therefore, if you're looking at it, you're going to pick it up, and then kind of read what's going on there. I wanted it to be kind of eye catching, something different, something mysterious, and with the tear, of course, when you're going through relationship issues and struggles and troubles and stuff like that, you I know when I've cried, with some things that may happen. So you do have some scenarios where, people are hurt. You have scenarios where people are like, oh my goodness, this is the best time of my life. So you're going through all kind of emotions in here. But that was more so to say the woman is telling, and, because you kind of have a narration going on in there. And the way it's being told is that, I might as well do this because this happened or whatever else. But I wanted the cover to be very eye catching and for people to wonder, what is that about? So that was my point. I think I did it though.
Because at first I was like, it's giving me very slave and roots like, but I do understand. I do get it. And so I'm like, oh, so what she's going through must be, is she getting beat? No, but look, we go.
I have to say this. One of my friends said, "What's the little girl on that crying on the cover?" I'm like, okay, now I haven't heard that. I'm like, I don't know what you're looking at. It's a little girl. That's not a little girl. That's actually my hairstylist.
Oh,
My one of
okay, that's cool. Because I
she
really want to
models. So
okay. Great. It's a great cover, by the way, and it is
thank you.
interesting. It kind of draws you to it, but it gives you so many various ways of thinking. Like, what is
Mhm.
this book about? So those are the kind of things that you want to put on a book cover because you want people to look at it. Then, of course, you turn on the back and you see you, and you give it the thing. So I think it's a great look. I love it. I think it's a great look. I think it's a great
Thank you.
guideline to a successful relationship. Now, is that the goal? Does it take you to that successful place in a relationship, or is it just the guide?
It takes you to a place of I don't want to say final decision. It takes you. It's a guide, and it takes you to a place where a situation can go either way. It kind of leaves you
Mm.
there because I do plan for it to be a sequel. There is a sequel.
Oh,
So
so you already got plans, so you definitely have to make it a movie. Yeah, that's interesting. That's pretty
yes,
good. That's pretty good. What
yes.
is your zodiac sign? I'm just curious.
I
Okay, is
should
that
make you guess
personal?
what you think it is. No, it's not personal. I'm not. I'm not one that's jammed up. Unless you just said something real like vulgar. It's like, what did you just say?
Okay.
I don't get jammed up very quickly, very easy. So, what do you think it
Well,
is?
see, that's a good question because I didn't think. I was just really trying to gather up your. I don't know. Are you an Aquarius? No.
It's funny that you would say that. I love Aquariuses. However, I'm a Taurus.
Ah, Lord Jesus. You know what? That was the second thing I was going to say, Taurus. But the reason why
Really?
I thought I really was second thing, but I really thought Aquarius at first because first of all, I am one. And I know that how Aquarian women are. My mom is an Aquarius, an
Hmm.
Aquarian woman, and just the way you approached when you were speaking about your book and the sense of care that it comes from. I get that from Aquarians. Taurus was the drive that you have about the book and the way you
Okay.
explain. I was like, she's a Taurus, but I was no, she feels like an Aquarius. You act like a Taurus, but you feel like an Aquarius. So you
Hmm.
might get through your chart to see. I bet you Aquarian comes in there somewhere.
Probably.
Your sun or moon or something. But yeah,
Mhm.
pretty good. I'm excited about the book. We are down here in Atlanta. Where are you?
Love Atlanta. I'm in
No,
Chicago, the
you're in
Windy City.
Chicago.
In
Okay,
Chicago.
okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're here in
Atlanta. I love Atlanta.
well, we need your book. Is it available now? Yeah, everything's available now. Because we
Yes,
need
it
your book
is.
in Atlanta because there's a lot of relationship stuff that ain't right. We need help. We need help in Atlanta. So but, would you give any advice from the book that is just the main route to a great relationship from your book? What would you say to everyone?
I would say, and it's just a few words, take accountability for your actions and make sure that you understand that everyone brings something to the party and that it is not one sided. And that if you're like, oh, this person, your spouse did this, did this, did this, you need to look at yourself and see, what they did may not have been right, but what did you do to contribute to pushing them towards that way? And if you can get yourself right, you can only start with yourself, self-reflection. And if you can do that, you might understand what happened
Mm,
in the relationship. And then you can like try to, do something to, sometimes they're not repairable, try to repair it. If you want it, then you got to start watering. But if you don't want it, then hey, just keep it moving. But
that's right.
take accountability. Take accountability because everybody contributes to the outcome. You can say that you didn't, I didn't do this, he did all. No, everybody contributes.
Everybody contributes. And the reason why everybody contributes is because, first of all, everybody's different. So everybody's reactions to something is different.
Hmm.
Everybody had different childhoods and different. So I think the one thing we need to do is really my thing that I can say, to help is we really have to try and understand other people. I mean, but we don't want to take that on. It's like we meet people, whether it's friendships, business relationships, personal relationships, whatever it is, we don't take that opportunity to really understand who the other person is. We just want them to understand us. And I think
Exactly.
that's part of the issue. And I try to take it upon myself to really understand anybody I'm involved with. I need to understand them too, because I could do something that can really take them the wrong way. Like one of my friends said, yeah, when you say stuff such and such and such, you go left. And it was so funny because we were talking about somebody else. And we were talking
Hmm.
about, yeah, left, not as in left and right, but left as in left the conversation. And I thought that was the funniest. I thought that was the funniest thing because that's what we do. We
Uh-huh.
we we go left. And then we
Yeah.
don't understand why we went left, and you don't understand why they went left because we don't take time out to learn each other and understand what you say does affect me or you and how it affects. So if we take that time to interest ourselves in knowing,
Hmm.
like, if I say this, how does that affect you? We'll learn the right things to say. So I think
Hmm.
that's the problem. But you sound like you got it all together and you told people how to do it. So I can't wait. I want to read this book. Because you got me interested. Now I'm like, okay, I saw where you had all these things, and you did it well too. When you told about the book, you made sure you
Hmm.
didn't say anything. You just was like, okay, okay, okay. I was like, okay, I want to see what that is. So, how much is this book, by the way?
Okay, so it has everybody's price point in there. Okay, so I have it. Let me start there. Where you can get it, let me say www.thewomantells, and Tales is TELLS, not TALES, TELLS
Okay.
.com. You can get a PDF download. That's $7.99.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the ebook, which is I'm on Amazon as well. You can get the ebook, for your Kindle on Amazon, and that's $8.99. And
Mm-hmm.
then I have the actual paperback. That's the most expensive. That's $24.99. However, I have a journal built into the back where for an entire year, January through December, is in there, and you get a few other things with the book. So it's not just you just get a paperback and that's it. I've actually took it upon myself to put some more things. You get a couple things. You get a bookmarker, you get a pen. So you're getting all of the stuff that you can like that you need, when you're reading or whatever else, and you can take
Mm-hmm.
notes. So, and those two things are the paperback is on Amazon and on the website. And I think
Okay.
it's on the Black Shopping Network as well.
Did you self publish or how hard is that to get a publisher? Because a lot of people want to know, like they want to know, like how can they get their book out there? What are the ways that you've traveled to get your book done and
I
published?
am self-published. I mean, I had some publishing houses coming at me that wanted to pick it up. A couple things that kind of, turned me away from that is that the time I was ready to, when I got finished, I want my book to be out. I don't want to be waiting 6 months for you to go through it and change the whole thing. I wanted to have full control of this first one because this is my first project. It's my baby. I'll learn from this, and then I can consider other things. But I self-published. I print and do a lot of stuff through Amazon. I did that.
Hmm.
As far as my editing, I utilized people in various fields. A teacher, my initial editing, I did a
Right.
lot of it. Then my initial editing was a teacher, a lawyer, and what was she? She's a teacher too. I used all them as friends, and I did all of that before I sent it into an editing house to put the final touches and put the formatting and stuff like that. So I kind of just kind of guided it myself. And when you send, the pointer is when you send your book into an editing house, if it isn't in a close to being ready state, you're gonna pay a lot of money. So that's why I
Right.
utilize friends to go through it as much as they could before I even sent it in.
You know,
Now,
you utilize friends. No, because God put people in your life for a reason. And I tell
hmm.
my friends all the time, you got the people around you that do this stuff, and we're supposed to help each other. So I appreciate the fact that you said that. And
Hmm.
that's what Culture Talk is all about. That's what we do. We try to talk
Hmm.
to people that are doing stuff like yourself, entrepreneurs, all across the board. Music,
Yes.
film, all kinds of entertainment, authors, doctors, whatever, lawyers, whatever.
Wow.
We want to get the word out there, so that's what we do. So I,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you coming on today. And shout out to Mr. Ellaby at Double Exposure. He's done a great job. And every time he sends someone, it's like, okay, this is gonna be a good one. So we make sure
I love Angelo. He's amazing. And
he
he
is amazing.
is a master at what he does. He
That's
is.
very true. It's very true. So yeah, so how can people reach you on social media?
Sure. Just remember The Woman Tells. That is my IG. That is my Facebook. That is my Twitter. That is my life. So they can read The Woman Tells.
The woman
So
tells.
on all of those outlets, that's where you can reach me. And what else can I say? Yeah, The Woman Tells is where you can reach me at. And the website is www.thewomantells.com. And I will give you the information for tonight because I would love for everybody to be on there.
Please. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how you can get that to me. You can give that to send it to Angelo and he can do that because I would
Okay.
love to
He
see that too.
actually has it.
Oh, he has it. Okay, and I'll
Yes.
make sure to put that up so that we can see it. But again, Karla Davis Luster, everyone. We've had a fascinating conversation, and we're
Uh-huh.
talking about the book. If your relationship is not right and you want it right, go get the book. Because that's all she's telling us. She wants to go get the book. She ain't say nothing about the book. No, I'll just play it. She's
Go
giving
get the book.
you, yeah, go get the book.
Go get
But
the
that's what
book.
we gotta do. We gotta support each other. Like I love some of your scenarios. So I just want to say again, thank you, Karla Davis Luster, for your fascinating book. And
Thank
I want to make sure I see it. The Woman Tells from a perspective that is not just about what the woman sees, but it's about what we need to see for each other. And I think
you.
that's a great thing. So I'm gonna say thank you again, and I'm gonna say I'm getting your book, and I'm gonna check it out tonight. And thank you, just thank you.
Thank you,
All the
Kevin. I have really enjoyed this. Thank you.
I'm glad you did, and I can't wait because I'm gonna read you about it, and I'm gonna tell you when I finish reading it what I learned.
Oh, please do. Please do.
So again, everybody, thank you. I'm Kevin Bryant. We are Culture Talk provided by the Heat Seekers. So please, please go out and get the book The Woman Tells by the wonderful Karla Davis Luster. And that's